Good afternoon, Bapak Ibu and hadirin sekalian. Selamat siang. How's your day, Bapak Ibu? It's almost at the end of weekend ya. Sudah bersiap-siap untuk weekend, tapi harapannya tetap semangatnya bisa tetap semangat sampai sore hari nanti. Kita sudah kehadiran pembicara pada siang hari ini. Selamat datang, Bapak Mahmud.
Halo,
Halo, selamat datang. Bagaimana kabarnya, Bapak?
baik. Terima kasih, Pak.
Oke, alhamdulillah. Semoga Bapak Ibu yang lain gimana nih kabarnya boleh banget sharing pakai apa namanya emoji di kolom komentar gimana perasaannya hari ini, emoji yang menggambarkan suasana hari ini gitu ya, menjelang weekend akhir pekan. Wah, terima kasih Bapak Ibu yang sudah mengirimkan emojinya, reactionnya mantap. Nah, kita akan bersiap-siap hari ini untuk webinar bersama nanti dengan Bapak Mahmud Layan Huta Suhud seperti itu. Wah, sudah ada dari mana aja nih kotanya boleh juga di absen kali ya, di presensi di bawah disebutin atau dari instansinya juga boleh. Nanti sebelum kita mulai di pukul 14.00. Wah, ada dari Tangerang. Selamat datang Ibu Ades Anggraini. Dari Pamekasan juga dari Ibu Eva. Salam dari Karawang ya Bapak Ibu ya. Oke, dari Politeknik Negeri Batam, selamat datang Ibu Ifti. Selamat bergabung. Oke, sebenarnya sudah mulai ramai. Mari kita buka saja ya Bapak Ibu ya. Baik. Am, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon everyone. First of all, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Ibu Evi Karlina Ambarwati SSMED as the Coordinator of English Language Education Study Program Singapura Bangsa Karawang University. The Honorable Bapak Mahmud Layan Hutasuhud SPD MHum PhD as the speaker for today's agenda. Also the Honorable Ibu Putri Kamalia Hakim SPD MHum, the head of the organizing committee for the third Seecon and the third PELTIN, as well as Bapak Ibu audience. Welcome to our pre-conference webinar, the academic article writing toward the third Seecon and PELTIN 2025. So we are very excited to have you join us today in this exclusive session designed to help researchers, lecturers, and students sharpen their academic writing skill and produce publishable articles that stand out. It is an honor for me, Sukarno, as the host for today's session. And before we begin, a few important notes for participants. The first one is kindly keep your microphone muted during the session to avoid any distractions. And also the attendance and feedback form link will be shared later after the Q&A session. And also for the participants who complete the session will receive an official e-certificate. Now, to begin our webinar with blessing and positivity, let us take a brief moment of a prayer, shall we? Thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. And for the next, we would like to invite the representative from the organizing committee to give a welcome remarks. It will be delivered by the head of the organizing committee for the third Seecon and third PELTIN. Please welcome Ibu Putri Kamalia Hakim, SPDM Home. Ibu Putri, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Pak Karno. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon,
Waalaikumsalam.
good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee of the third Seecon and the third PELTIN conference, I'd like to extend my warmest welcome to all of you joining today's pre-conference webinar. It is such a pleasure to see educators, researchers, and students from various places coming together in this academic space. This event is not just a webinar, it is part of a bigger journey, a pre-conference series leading up to the third Seecon and the third PELTIN conference, which will take place next week on August 7. As the chair of Seecon 2025, I feel incredibly proud to open today's session, and I am even more excited that we are starting this journey by talking about one of the most honest, humbling, and meaningful parts of being an academic, which is writing. So now allow me to share a short story. Several years ago, I submitted my first article to a journal I had admired for a long time. I was full of hope and honestly, a little bit proud. Weeks and months passed, and when the response finally came, it was a rejection. Not a revise and resubmit, it was a flat, simple no. I stared at that email longer than I care to admit. I didn't touch my laptop for days, but something changed after the scene faded. I read the reviewers' comments again, this time with less pride and more humility, with a calmer mind. At first, they felt like punches, but slowly I began to see them for what they truly were. They were invitations for me to write more clearly, to think more deeply, to engage with my field more meaningfully. So I revised, I rewrote, I let go of the paragraphs that I love so much, but didn't serve my arguments. So I submitted again to the Urban Journal, and months later, it was accepted. It was one of the most satisfying and empowering moments of my academic life. So that experience taught me that academic writing is not just about producing a publishable manuscript. It's about shaping ourselves to become more disciplined thinkers, better communicators. So every attempt, whether successful or not, bring us closer, one step closer to that goal. So if you are here today with a folder full of drafts, a mind or heart full of doubts, a head full of ideas that haven't quite taken shape, this session is for you. You are not alone in this process. And today's speaker, Bapak Mahmud Layan Hutasuhut, SPDM Hum PhD, has walked this very path before us. He is a scholar with a wealth of experience in navigating the world of publishing. He will work us through the essential principles of writing an article that editors will not only read, but also remember. So let's take this opportunity not only to listen, but also to ask questions, to take notes, and reflect on how we can grow in our writing journeys. So thank you very much, Pak Mahmud, for generously sharing your time and expertise with us today. And to everyone, thank you once again for being here today. Let us enjoy today's session, stay engaged, and don't forget to mark your calendar for August 7th, our main conference day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Miss Putri, for the speech. Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, so today's theme for our webinar is crafting a publishable article that editor will notice. So it is my honor to introduce you to our distinguished speaker for today's webinar, Bapak Mahmud Layan Hutasuhut, PhD. And before we start the session, let me brief you the curriculum vitae from Bapak Mahmud. So Bapak Mahmud is a respected teacher, discourse analyst, and also translator with a strong research passion in the field of educational linguistics. And he currently serves as a faculty member at the English Education Department of Universitas Negeri Medan. He earned his PhD in educational linguistics from the University of Wollongong in Australia in 2022. And relevant to our topic today, Dr. Mahmud is actively involved as an editor and reviewer from the Indonesian Journal of Applied Linguistics, and giving him first-hand insight into what makes an article stand out in the publication process. He also contributes to academic development as a training facilitator for lecturers across Indonesia, in collaboration with the University of York and Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, focusing on innovative approaches to academic English. His recent publications include both scholarly articles and also educational materials, such as a 2023 article in ISAL entitled Engage at First Sight, which explores critical thinking and audience awareness in academic writing. So with that, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mahmud Layan Hutasuhut, PhD.
Thank you, Pak Soekarno. such a very heartwarming welcome. I feel very, it's such a pleasure for me to share what I know about publishing a research article to a journal. Anyways, I'm still feeling a little bit nervous. Okay, I'm taking a deep breath. Bu Evi, how are you? Long time no see.
Hi, Pak Mahmud. I'm good. Yeah, it's been years, yeah,
It's been a year, I think more than a year.
more than a year, I guess.
More
Yeah.
than a year. Okay, I think it's better for me to start with a laugh. Okay. Okay, anyways, I should share my screen then. It's been quite some time since the last time I used Zoom. Okay, how should I? Okay, this one. Okay. Bu Evi, could I just give the slide to you perhaps?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. All right then. Give me 1 minute, please. Bear with me. Bu Evi. And then I really am sorry about this. I'm just a little bit nervous. Okay, the document has been sent, Ibu Evi.
Yep. Okay, I'm downloading it and I'm ready to share it for everyone in a minute.
Ooh. I'm not an expert, Ibu Evi, okay? So
Oh, come
I would
on.
just like, to share what I know.
You
Okay.
are so humble. Okay, right, we're ready then.
Okay, so well, as Pak Sukarno has mentioned, recently it's about crafting a publishable article. Editors will notice. Yes, I'm one of the active editors, just a junior editor, I believe, and a reviewer at EJAL. So that's what I would like to share, what I know today with you. I would prefer if this session is more to, question and answer. I would love to answer all your questions if I can. Well, if I have no idea what to say, then I will be very honest with you. And let's just, talk about it together later on. So today's outline, yep. So what we will discuss today. So first of all, I would like to say something about, why publishing matters and where to publish. And then followed by navigating journal databases. I believe almost all of you here know how to navigate journal databases and suggestions for research issue, different types of research articles. And I would like to focus on two types of research articles, book review and research article, and then essential elements of manuscript. And we'll see some samples, perhaps 2 or 3 samples. So you get the idea how to craft your own manuscript so that reviewers, editors will notice and get published. So 7 things that we will discuss today. So this is a quote that I would like to use to start our discussion today. Yes, as lecturers, we have to do research. And after, completing a research, then we have to publish it, because without publishing the results of our research, it's just useless. Okay, we need to share what we found to the community, the scientific community. If we are not willing to share what we found after doing our research, then the research itself has no value or just little value. And publishing what we found publishing our research is a huge opportunity for us, not just to share, but also to explain to the community why what we have done is important and what we found could be applied in relevant field within a specific, a particular academic community or scientific community. So this is from Vitsi and Poland back in 2017. So yes. Now, why publishing matters? All of you must know this. We need to get recognized, okay? As lecturers, also teachers, we need to get recognized academically and professionally. One of the ways to get recognized is by publishing our work. Okay, our work can be related to, again, research article or a book review or a textbook that is used by a particular group of students, for example. And then also we need to publish, and this is gold, right, Ibu Evi? Career advancement. Without publishing anything, we cannot get promoted. So that is the requirement. And yes, and then contribution to the field also. What field you're interested in? I'm interested in discourse analysis. I'm interested in academic writing. I'm interested in translation. So I need to contribute to these fields. So, well, that's why we need to publish. Okay, so, well, the larger audience can possibly use what we have found through our research. And then also, besides contributing to the field, we can expand the scholarly conversations among a particular, group, scientific community also. So we need to see how what we found through our research can expand to other fields as well. Okay, so expanding scholarly conversations. And of course, we love to see our name in print, right? Don't you? Don't you love to see your name in print? Oh, look at my name in print, even though we don't get paid, actually, right? Publishing our research articles, we don't get paid. We have to pay, but we love to see our name in print. So that's why these are several of the many reasons why we need to publish. But I think the most important things here, the most important reasons are, I believe all of you here must agree with me, the first and the second one. Okay, we need to get recognized and we want to be promoted. We do not want to get stuck in one position only. Okay. Okay, next, please. So where to publish a lot? There are thousands of options, Ibu Bapak. Okay, so you can go to conference and then try to find out if there are any proceedings, and you can try to publish, especially if publishing is quite new to you. So you can opt to conference proceedings. You can also publish a book, a textbook, like I said just now. Book chapters, perhaps, okay, journals. Now, speaking of journals, there are, I'm not really sure if this number is correct. There are 26,000 journals and more. And well, of course, these thousands of journals lead to confusion sometimes, most of the time. Which one to choose? Well, the first thing you can do is, well, you need to understand the topic, the topic that you choose to write. What is your topic actually about? And go to the journal website and then check the coverage. Is the topic that you have chosen as your research is covered in that journal? If it is not covered, don't push yourself, okay? It will be rejected because it is not within the journal scope. Is it peer reviewed? Well, my advice is, well, choose a peer-reviewed journal because it's more, the credibility of the journal is recognized. If and most appropriate readership, the prestige, length of time from submission to publication, you can have a look, or perhaps you can ask your friends who have published in that particular journal how long usually it takes to publish in that journal. If you're in a hurry, most of us are in a hurry, okay? We need to get something published in within perhaps like 6 months or even 3 months, then look, choose the journal carefully. Can the journal accommodate your being hurried here? Okay. If not, then choose another journal. And then highest impact, credibility again, and again, the journal itself. Please, why is it the last point here? Again, an appropriate journal is the most significant thing that you have to consider, okay? It's all about the journal coverage, okay? So there are different strategies, but my advice is always check the website, the journal website first, and then check the coverage. So what kind of field, the topic that you have researched and you are writing at the moment. Okay, next, please. So consider, so this is more detailed here. Consider these factors to make an informed decision. Who is your audience and where are the scholarly conversations happening in your discipline? Is openness important to you? Do you want to maximize the reach of your research? Where are your peers publishing? If you're a graduate student, where does your supervisor? This is, I believe some of the audience here are graduate students, master's degree or PhD students, and you must be, well, some supervisors must have been assigned to supervise promoters in Indonesia, okay? Supervised your work, your thesis work, and understand, recognize, know your supervisors. What have they published? Okay, so if their publications are in line with your own research, then your life will be a lot easier. Okay, so this is for graduate students, masters, and PhD students particularly. Okay, next, please. So navigating journal databases, I would go very fast here. I would just to show you, some examples. So you can browse, search, explore journals index in the Web of Science. Okay, you can have this slide later, and then we have this Jane journal, author name estimator, manuscript matcher, journal guide, open access, journal finder by Enago, Springer Journal Suggester, Elsevier Journal Finder. There are the websites there, and then you can use this one also. Okay, there is another option, SJR. Other factors to consider, the publishers, okay, editorial board, issue publication, the quality of published articles, abstracting and indexing, peer review process, publication, submission fee, the charge, money is always important, okay? We have our own budget, and then open access option, complimentary copy, solo-sided contribution. These are the factors that you have to consider, okay, before you decide to submit. Go on, Ibu. Now, suggestions for research issue. If you are still considering what kind of research issue you want to write, you can go to this website, Cambridge University Press or Sage Journals. Okay, this has been common knowledge for almost all of us here. And then, yes, Ibu, Science Direct, Elsevier, that's the website. Okay, perhaps giving you some inspiration what to write. We have here Springer, okay, and Emerald Insight, Wiley Online Library. This is the library that I always used when I was doing my PhD. Okay, so it gives me a lot of ideas. Okay, Oxford Journals, this is also very useful. Okay, just in case, you get stuck. What kind of topic I want to write? Okay, I want to be promoted. I have to publish. What kind of topic, research issue nowadays? Is it about AI? Is it about what? Okay, so look, read. Okay, lots of resources out there. Taylor and Francis online. Okay, play along, okay? Play along. Go explore, Ibu Bapak. Don't be afraid. Nothing will explode, okay? Just explore, all right? So those are the many different websites that you can always use to explore any relevant current research issues that people are so crazy about nowadays. Okay, so perhaps you can take one and then do it yourself, right? And do the research. So we have these different types of research articles. I believe I have mentioned some of them. There is a book review, there is a case report, clinical study, commentaries and letters to editors, letters of short reports, data sets, research articles, a book review, research article. These are the two famous ones. Or review article, literature review. You want to focus on literature review, especially the systematic literature review or meta-analysis. It's all up to you, okay? So I would focus on two types of research articles for today. They are book review and research article. Okay, so for the book review, let's start with the shortest type of publication. It requires only 1,500 to 2,000 words, depending on the complexity of the book you are reviewing. If the book is very complex, of course, it takes more than 1,000 words. Okay, if the book consists of several chapters, different chapters, even though within the same topic, then it requires more than 1,000 and 1,500 words. But if the book is pretty simple, then perhaps 1,000 words is more than enough to review that book. So why book review? My friend. I remember that my friend used to tell me that, hey, Mood, you haven't published anything yet. So it's a good idea for you to start with a book review. And I told her that I had no idea how to do it. Can you just please guide me? And she, a very kind person, all right, she guided me how to write a book review. And it was, well, for her, it was very simple. It was very easy. For me, it was quite challenging, but at least I got the idea. Okay, so, well, this is the book review looks like, and it's pretty short. And I believe all of us here can start with a book review first and get used to the academic writing thing in writing a book review. Okay, and then after that, you can move on to writing a journal article. So these are the 4 reasons why I believe writing a book review is a good starting point. It can provide you with insight and opinion on recently published scholarly books. You can always apply, okay, send an email and then telling the publisher that, hey, I'm interested in reviewing this currently published book. Can you send me this book? Usually you can get it for free, and then you can, you read it and then review the book. So you get, once it's published, you got 2 advantages. Okay, you got your name in that published work, and you get a free book. Okay, and book review, as I said before, it is a good way to begin academic writing. All of us know theoretically what academic writing is, but when it is put into practice, then many of us are struggling, okay, to implement what we have known about academic writing. And then help get your name known in your field. It's a good starting point, to make you more recognized in the academic field, in the academic community. And then, of course, give you valuable experience of publishing before you write a full-length article. So got the experience first, writing a book review. Find a senior in your community, okay, a senior lecturer, a senior person, a more experienced person to guide you how to write a good review. Work together, learn from her or from him, and then, well, and then after that, you can start writing your own book review. Okay, next, please. So this is the book review that was published a few months ago. It's together with my very, very good friend, Ibu Ana here, Ibu Ana Tambunan. Okay, so she's the one guiding me. Okay, Mo, this is how to write a book review. And then, oh, thank God it was published. Okay, very big applause to Ibu Ana for guiding me to write a book review. So if you're interested, you can always go to this website and then download it and then have a look how to actually write a book review. Get used to it. Okay, use what you know about academic writing and then start writing a book review. And then after that, well, of course, you need to choose a book that is, that you are interested in. Okay, something in your field. Do not choose a book that you don't really understand. I mean, like, it's completely different field from you. Okay, so don't. A book that can add your knowledge, a book that you have been dealing with in terms of the specific field. Okay, that is a shameless promotion actually. Okay, so next please. Next we move on to the research article. Okay, this is the monster in the closet. Okay, research article, how to make our research noticeable to the editors. First, we have to start from titles, of course, Ibu Bapak. If you have any questions, just interrupt me, okay? So I wouldn't mind. Go ahead. So here we have a title here, a comparison of Chinese and Australian university students' attitudes towards plagiarism. Okay, so from this research article title, we know that the research process is comparing two cohorts, Chinese students and Australian students at university. So those are the two groups of research participants, and the constructs, the variables are their attitudes and plagiarism. So this is a good one, very effective research article, the lexical soundness of the research article. And then if you want to think about another context, but you still want to use the same research process, the same cohorts of students, then you just need to how can I say, to think about another a different, not very different, quite similar perhaps, or different, totally different constructs and variables. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so we can, turn our focus on, for example, okay, I would like to focus on novel. Then you can say attitudes not towards plagiarism, but contemporary American romance. Okay, so that's novel. So everything is, everything else remains the same, but the constructs, the variables, changed. Okay, so you can have two different research articles actually. Okay, so the first one is towards plagiarism. The second one towards contemporary American romance. This is especially for you, Ibu Bapak, who focus on English literature, for instance. Or perhaps for those who are more interested in the use of technology in the classroom. So you just change that construct of variables into flipped classroom. I believe you know what flipped classroom is, right? Yeah. Okay. So again, one title can be modified a little bit. Okay, the focus, you can change the focus. And if you want to change the focus, please go on to the constructs of variables first. Okay, you do not need to change the whole thing, but just a little bit tiny things, and then as a result you can get two different or even three different research articles. The same process, the same participants, but different constructs of variables. Okay, save your time. All right, so next. So what a research article looks like. And all of us know that a research article starts from an introduction. You need to introduce to your reader here. In this case, your first readers are your reviewers and your editors. Okay, introduce the topic to them. Okay, what is it you want to write here? Or what was it that you researched about? Okay, and why, the significance of that topic? Why is it significant? Why is it important nowadays? So make your case. Okay, make your case. Hey, my research is important. Okay, my research is important. And then because of these 1, 2, 3 reasons, for example. It has been done before, but not in my context. You can say that. Okay, or it has been done before, but it was like decades ago. Okay, so make your case. And then the methods, after introduction, the methods. What did you do to collect the data? Well, you have options. You can do, qualitative or quantitative or mixed of these two. Okay, just to answer your research problem. So, which method is suitable to collect your data? Then use that method, either qualitative, quantitative, or mixed. And then findings. What did you find? So after you conducted the methods, that specific method, you found something. What did you find then? So tell your reader what you found. And then discuss your findings. So when you discuss these findings, you need to relate again to your introduction, because your introduction actually consists of some literature review, what has been done before or what have been done before within that topic you have chosen. So relate your findings to the literature review. Okay, and after that, what are your interpretations of those findings? What do you understand about the findings? Okay, always relate to the literature review. And then after that, conclusion. What have you learned from that study? Okay, conclusion is not only about summarizing what you have written in the previous sections, but also it needs to showcase what you have learned from your research. And reviewer, editor need to see that, okay, before you end your research article. Okay, next, please. Now, this is the very first part of a research article, okay, abstract. An abstract consisting of how many words, Ibu Bapak? Abstract. Perhaps you can say something in the chat box. How many words usually an abstract? 1,000 words? Fewer than 1,000, 250 words? Yeah, 200, 500. That's a little bit too long, I think, Pak Andrian. Yeah, I would say starting from 150 to 250 words, ideally 200 to 250 words. But again, it depends. Again, it depends on the journal. So that's why go to the journal website. Always, okay? Always check the journal website. What is their coverage? What are their requirements? Okay, you want to submit to them. Of course, you need to know them. Isn't that logical? Right? So you need to know them. Do your homework first about that journal. Okay, get to know them. It's just like, before having a relationship, right? So you need to know that, that future potential partner, okay? Know him or know her before you submit. Anyways, so, well, ideally 200 and between 200 and 250 words, but it is also possible some journals require you to write 300 words. Some other journals only like 150 words. It depends. For a conference proceeding, perhaps it's enough to write in 150 words. Again, it depends. Okay, Ibu Bapak. But the most important thing here is when you are writing your abstract, you must, okay, present a clear summary plus keywords, okay? So this clear summary consists of introduction. So it's just like, the elements of the whole research article, but in the form of a summary. It needs to have an introduction, okay? One sentence, okay, to set up the context and the significance of your research. Do not just begin your abstract with, this research aims to, come on, be slow. Slowly, please, all right? Tell us first, what is the context of your research? Or what is the significance of your research? And then after that, you can have that famous sentence, this research aims to. Okay, so have one sentence to set up the context or to say the significance of that of your research. And then literature review, 1 or 2 sentences to position your work, and then methods. Okay, methods, the methods that you used in conducting that research must be clear and can be replicated. Okay, the methods you use. Please mention the methods you use as clearly as possible. Yeah, so we understand that, okay, this is the method that will be elaborated later on in the method section within the body of that article. And results should also be clear and organized. 2 or 3 sentences for the results, 1 or 2 sentences for discussion that includes your interpretation and implications, and then 1 final sentence to conclude your abstract. Okay, that conclusion must be concise and forward-looking. Forward-looking, like for future research is your research providing an avenue for future research? a possibility for future research to replicate, for example, or a slightly different context. That's the conclusion. Okay, so again, Ibu Bapak, your abstract must have introduction, literature review, perhaps literature review will be like in the introduction too, and then the methods, that's what I always look for, and then results and discussion and conclusion. Okay, so 200, 250 words, I know that's not much, but some people, they tend to write more than 500 words abstract, so you have to cut down unnecessary things. Some other people, people who submit, they write less than 200. As a result, the abstract is not very clear. Okay, some elements are missing in that abstract. So, okay, so again, abstract, well, this is the same thing actually. Can you just go? This is my abstract that got published a couple of years ago. You can always go to this journal. It's, I think, not more than 250 words. So I have here, I set up the context, okay? I position the research, it's all about critical thinking. And then I begin with, well, with the many conceptions of critical thinking, and then literature review. The next two sentences are about literature review, saying that with all those differing conceptions of critical thinking, it leads to one specific skill, which is argumentation skills, and then the aim of the research or the aim of the paper. So the aim of this paper here, providing insight into how this knowledge can be grounded, knowledge of argumentation skills, grounded for timely reader anticipation to evidence the skills in thinking critically when constructing a written argument. Okay, so that is the aim. And then I provide here another sentence to make it how I looked into these critical thinking skills along with the methods. And then after that, the next few sentences, the findings, okay? And the last sentence, rethinking critical thinking through a linguistic lens, elucidated exactly which language resources were implicated to indicate some of its important elements, making them visible, making these critical thinking skills accessible. So this is my conclusion, okay, in that abstract. Keywords, please don't forget keywords. How many keywords? Well, again, it depends. Most of the time, we just need to provide 4 to 5 keywords. And the keywords I have here, the appraisal systems, argumentative writing, engagement, critical thinking, and language use. So that is an example of an abstract. Again, this is shameless promotion. Okay, next, please. What about introduction? What we need to do in the introduction, because of the limited space that we have in writing a research article, an introduction, aside from setting up the context of our study, of our research, it should also include literature review. Okay, so quite packed. So many things going on in the introduction. We need to introduce our topic, set up the context, what's the significance, and then also we need to review related, relevant literature that has been done before, previous studies. Okay, and then it's not only making a kind of shopping list of the previous studies for our review of literature, but rather we compare and contrast those previous studies. Okay, so okay, this has been done before and that has been done before. So we compare them, okay, perhaps in terms of the methodology, in terms of the context, we compare and contrast those previous studies. And then after that, we get to our own study. So those previous studies actually haven't done this. And because of that, this is my study. My study offers what those studies haven't done. That's it. So that's the significance or the novelty. Some people say the novelty or the gap of the gap that is, the existing gap that your own research can fill in. Okay. Am I speaking too fast or so quiet? I'm a bit nervous here. So quiet. Nobody's asking questions. Are you still with me?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think we're just like reluctant to interrupt you because we're looking
It's
forward to a lot of
okay. Just
information from
interrupt
you.
me. It's okay. All right. Anyway, I'm just looking at your screen, Ibu Effie, to make me calm down. Okay, so that is the introduction. Let's see next. Yeah, so if this is my my favorite shape when teaching my students how to write an academic paragraph, or in this case writing an introduction, one paragraph at a time. Okay, an introduction consists of several paragraphs, so one paragraph at a time. So how do you begin your paragraph? This is common knowledge for all of us. You must always begin with a topic sentence, okay? Your paragraph must begin with a topic sentence. What is that topic? What does that topic sentence consist of? Well, it should consist of a topic or the main idea. What do you want to discuss in that paragraph? And what's the scope of that discussion or the controlling idea? So the topic sentence functions to establish the significance of the research topic. Okay, if we are talking about introduction of a research article. And then that topic sentence must be followed by several sentences. And those sentences we call supporting sentences. So the functions of these supporting sentences are to support the claim that we make in the topic sentence. In that topic sentence, we make a claim, the topic. This is the topic of my research, and the topic is very important. That is a claim. Okay, so we have to support that claim to make it an argument. Without any supports, then your claim will remain a claim. And we need to take, to distance ourselves from a claim. So this is where many students or people who submit, many of them fail to support their claim. You need to support your claim with further explanation or elaboration. You need to support your claim with evidence. Evidence here can take in the form of previous studies. Okay, well, again, it goes back to literature review, or perhaps there are statistics that you can include in that explanation. And after you include the evidence to support your claim, you also need to explain the evidence in your own words. This is to show that you actually understand what you have presented as evidence. Okay, without explaining the evidence, the reader are not quite convinced with what you have written in that paragraph. Okay, you have the evidence, you have the previous studies, you have statistics, okay, statistical data to support your claim. But do you actually understand the evidence? We need to see that. Okay, so again, well, this is what a paragraph should look like a triangle. Okay, it begins with a narrow area, a very specific thing, and then developed more like look at, well, the shape of a triangle getting larger at the end. Okay, more general, not even getting more specific. Don't do that. Okay, getting more general. Okay, next please. Yeah, this is my introduction here. This is my claim. Critical thinking has been subjected to multiple conceptualizations from a variety of theoretical perspectives. This is still a claim. If I just stop here, okay? Claim is not a good thing, Ibu Bapak, okay? It's not a good thing. You have to support the claim to make it into an argument. So the following sentences, okay, support my claim here, saying that critical thinking has been defined by multiple conceptualizations from a variety of theoretical perspectives. I began with Socrates, okay, with his deep questioning, and then this is evidence, okay? What is it? Previous study. And then I explained that evidence, the technique to account of argumentation practice through exploration and so on and so forth. And this explanation also referred to a couple of previous studies. And then I explain again, this practice established a philosophical perspective that underlies critical thinking. And then it has also been profoundly refined in many epistemological disciplines, such as those from cognitive, psychological, and educational fields. So the first paragraph here focus on the philosophical perspective. And of course, I would like to briefly explain critical thinking from the perspective of other epistemological disciplines such as cognitive, psychological, and educational fields. So the next, from this last final sentence in this paragraph, okay, you know that I will discuss the cognitive psychological perspective of critical thinking, and then the next paragraph will discuss the educational fields of critical thinking. So this final sentence serves as a bridge, okay, to the next paragraph. So again, cohesion and coherence must also be considered, okay? Do not write paragraphs that seem to be standing by themselves, no connection to the next paragraphs, okay? Every paragraph you write in every section of your research article must be connected. There is a red line, okay, connecting every single paragraph in your research article. In Bahasa Indonesia, we say benang merah, okay? If there is no benang merah, then how can we understand what you write? It looks like broken up paragraphs there, okay? No connection at all. Next, please. So, common reasons for rejections. Ingat Ibu Bapak, okay? Don't be sad if you got rejected, okay? Getting rejected is common, okay? But make it as a learning process for you and your team, okay? So, common reasons for rejection: poor fit with journal. Again, the scope is not really fit. So that's why I always, at the beginning, I said, go to the journal website, okay? Find out the scope of that journal. And then also here, lack of originality, Well, nothing new. Okay. It's same old, all right? Same old, same old. So been done 1,000 times before, perhaps. Okay, lack of originality. Weak methodology, unclear results. Okay, weak methodology resulting in unclear results. Of course. So that's why I said before, when we were discussing the abstract, your methodology must be very clear. And the justification of your choice of methodology must be presented in the methodology section in the article, in the body of the article. Okay, in the abstract, you just need to mention what your methodology is. But in the methodology section, you have to justify your choice of methodology. Why is it suitable for your study or for your research? And then this is what I hate so much, poor writing or structure. Yeah, yang paragraph lepas-lepas. Okay, broken up paragraphs. Okay, no coherence, whatever. Okay, poor writing. Poor writing is not always about, poor grammar or crazy spelling. Okay, perhaps if it is crazy spelling, then only one or two still forgivable. But if poor writing is about no coherence, then that drives many reviewers or editors crazy. Okay, so they just stop reading your work. And then ignoring author guidelines again. Okay, back to the journal website. Okay, study that journal, please, before you even begin to think about submitting. Before even, begin to think about submitting, study the journal, please. What are the guidelines? Okay. So these are the common reasons for rejections. Let's see. This is what we do at EJAL. Okay. We talk about the strength of every single criteria here. We start from title and then abstract, introduction, methodology, and look at this. This is one. But Ibu Effie, for the example of the article, maybe you can just skip it later because it's not very ethical. Ibu Effie, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So the title, ambiguous, so please revise it. The abstract, well, there is an attempt to summarize, okay, the necessary aspect of the research. But again, look at this. This is what I said before, okay, poor writing. The sentences are awkwardly structured or rather unclear. There is also a need to add one sentence to set up the context. So that's why I said when we talked about abstract, begin your abstract with a sentence to introduce your reader what your research is actually about, setting up the context. Okay, don't just get to this research aims to. Okay, please provide one sentence before that. Okay, and then introductions need to be restructured. Okay, again, this is all about paragraph yang lepas-lepas. Okay, restructured, focus on the core of your research, introduce that and review literature related to that first. A number of aspects in this section also need to be reconsidered for clarity. And there are more comments on the manuscript, of course. And then methodology, what is stated in this section regarding the design of the research contradicts what was stated in the abstract. So you can imagine this, Ibu Bapak, langsung reject. Okay, something like that. Okay, what was stated in the abstract totally different from what was written in the methodology section in the research body. Okay, so clarify this, please. Next. And then we also examine, aside from the methodology, next slide, please. the findings, okay? And then also discussion and then conclusion. So the conclusion is the strong point of this sample attempts to address the requirements, but other criteria definitely need a lot of improvement, okay? No figures used, there is only one, and that figure is not even very clear. And then also, again, the methodology contradiction, okay, contradicted to what has been stated in the abstract. And what can be offered, okay? Don't just focus on the topic provided in this manuscript. Can you offer something else? Because that's quite limited, what is offered in that manuscript. So again, this is the process of what we always do, okay, to review, or yeah, this is reviewing process, yeah, to review a manuscript. The next one, please, just skip it, Ibu Evi. Skip it, please. Okay. So tips for before submission, Ibu Bapak, you must have near you in your community at university, you must have friends, right? Okay. So you must have friends who are willing to help you, you know, a more experienced friend. In my case, for example, Ibu Ana Tambunan, okay, a more experienced friend who is willing to give peer feedback and proofreading. Okay, don't think that, hey, my grammar is perfect. I can always make perfect sentences. I don't need proofreading. No, okay. Everything that we have written needs proofreading. There must be one or two missed things that need to be revised. Yeah, trust me, once our friend reads our writing, there must be some things that need to be improved or revised. And then adhere strictly to formatting requirements. Again, study the journal you would like to submit your manuscript to, okay? Always go to their website, please. Different journals have different formatting requirements. Different journals have different citation requirements. Some journals require you to use Harvard. Some other journals require you to use APA 7. Don't say that, I'm from social sciences. I always use APA 7, but that journal requires you to use Harvard. So go with it, okay? You have no excuses. You cannot just say no. All right, so adhere to their requirements, please. And check plagiarism. How do we check plagiarisms, Ibu Bapak? Anyone? How do we check plagiarism? Turnitin, yes, very good. Do you have access to Turnitin, or do you have your own Turnitin? That's good if you do have one. Okay, if you do have access. If you don't have access, I believe one or two individuals at your university have access to Turnitin. Ask them to check plagiarism. And of course, ethical standards citations, okay? Right, please don't forget to cite anything, any statement that you take from other previous literature, okay? Don't make it your own without acknowledging that it is actually somebody else's, okay? So ethical standards must be established strongly. That is, those are the tips before submission. And then tips after submission, please be patient, okay? I know all of us would like to see our articles published, but please be patient. There are a lot of things to revise, okay? We have to follow suggestions from the reviewers. And then after that, follow suggestions from the editors. So please be patient. All right. We all want to get promoted. We want to be lektor kepala. We want to be guru besar. Okay. But the thing is, for every single submission, we need to be patient and respond to reviewers' comments professionally, please. Okay, don't be defensive. All right, don't be defensive. All right, so please follow reviewers' comments professionally and try to accommodate their comments. That's what they want, and you want to submit to their journal. So follow them, please, and revise and resubmit if invited. Well, of course, we all hope that if it is not minor revision, it is major revisions with consideration. So we can get invited again to resubmit, even if it is major revision, hopefully. So that's tips for after submission. Is there any other slide, Ibu Effie? I don't remember. Oh yeah, final thoughts.
This is the last one, Pak
Oh,
Mahmud.
this is the last one. Yes, persistence is key. Persistence is key in our life. Okay, not only in submitting an article, but also in studying. I've always told my students, not all of them, some of them, that intelligence counts when doing PhD or when doing a master's degree. Intelligence counts, but persistence matters more. Okay, you're being, you are intelligent person, but you give up easily. That's useless. Okay, you're not that intelligent, but you are always being persistent. That is great. Never give up. Keep moving on. Right? And then the feedback from the reviewers, don't think about the feedback as something that breaks you down. Okay? No. It's not for menjatuhkan ibu bapak. No, it's an opportunity for you to learn, to make your skills in writing, in academic writing, in scientific writing, a lot better. You learn from the feedback. Okay? Sometimes, we oftentimes overlook a lot of things in writing. So this feedback is useful to remind us that, okay, so I need to do this actually. And I have been forgetting this thing for quite some time. That's good thing. That's good for me to learn. And each submission definitely is a learning opportunity. So even though it is rejected, jangan kecil hati. Okay, it's a learning process. Everything is a learning process. I sound like a very wise person, but sometimes I got really disappointed when rejected too. Well, anyways, I think that's all what I can share with you. Perhaps, it's not that good or it's not enough. That's why please ask me questions and I will be more than happy to answer your questions if I can, of course.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you very much, Bapak Mahfud, for such an
Oh,
insightful and valuable presentations.
thank you so
Bapak
much.
Ibu, now we proceed to the Q&A session. So we will have like around 30 minutes for this session. Bapak Ibu, you are free to share your questions through the chat box or directly turn on your microphone or also raise your hand. And here we have the first question from Ibu Velada Fitri. The question is, what should we do if our article is rejected without any explanation? Should I give up, Bapak Mahmud? Or what is your answer? Thank you for the question, Ibu Vela.
Ibu Fela, don't give up, Ibu Fela. If they don't offer you, if they don't provide you any explanation, it's their loss, okay? It means they are not that good, Okay, Ibu Fela, they are not capable of giving you explanation, Ibu Fela. So there are thousands options for you, Ibu Fela. All right. So other journals may be waiting for your article. So submit to other journals, Ibu Fela, especially if there is no explanation. So that is their incapability. Okay. Don't be disappointed and don't give up.
All right, don't give up. Thank you very much, Pak Mahmud. Like what Pak Mahmud said previously, right? We have to be persistent.
Yes, be
Yeah.
persistent. That's the key. Intelligence, okay, but persistent matters more. That's what I
All
believe.
right, Bapak Ibu, for the others audience, do you guys, if you have any question, please raise your hand or directly turn on your microphone. That will be fine. Okay.
Mahmud.
Yes, Ibu Efi. Ibu Efi,
Iya.
you're asking me? Oh, come on. Oh.
Oh, Mahmud, come on. I was curious about the book review. You always make it sound very easy, but I know it's really difficult to do, though. Oh well, it's the book review. So, you mentioned that the book that we're going to review is supposedly the book that we like, right? You mentioned about it. And is there
In
any
your field.
yeah, we love to read. And is there any other criteria, especially if we're looking at the perspective of the reviewer or the journal? What kind of books that the editors usually love to have the review on?
I think
Could you?
besides
Mhm.
it is within your field, I think
Okay.
that another factor that you have to consider that it is current, Ibu Efi. Not
Right,
something,
right.
yeah, not something published ages ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
So by current, you mean like the last 5 years or
last
even
5
earlier?
years, yeah, the last 5 years. Or it just got published because if it was like, the last 5 years, perhaps that book has been reviewed. Quite,
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
perhaps yeah, the latest,
Okay.
okay, recently published and no review.
Mhm.
And then also it is within your field and you're
Okay.
really interested in that,
Mhm.
then take that book. Okay. If they
All
don't
right.
give the copy for free, you can always, well, of course, buy it. Yeah. And then review it. Choose, I think, well, again, it's quite, subjective, okay, but choose something less complex.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
see.
something like straightforward. I mean, like
Mm,
the content of the book.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Mahmud.
What are you interested in, Ibu Efi? If
Oh,
may ask.
um, well, I'm starting to learn about English um for teaching English to young learners,
Okay, something.
something like that,
Yeah. EYL.
EYL, yeah, Pak
Yeah.
Mahmud.
That's why you are in Peltin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Bapak Ibu semua, come and join us at Peltin. Again, shameless promotion. Yeah, because Peltin provides a lot of,
Mm,
resources on EYL.
yeah. So PELTIN is short for Primary English Teachers of Indonesia. Yeah. And we're
Yeah.
Universitas Singapura Bangsa Karawang is collaborating with PELTIN this year, ya Pak Mahmud,
Yep.
ya.
Yes. And
This
thank
is
you so much for that opportunity, Ibu F, for
oh the honors
allowing
is
us.
the honor is ours, Pak Mahmud. Okay. All right. So Pak Mahmud, we have a lot of
All right.
questions, I think, ya,
We
Pak
need
Soekarno
to stop
also.
gossiping, ya, Ibu Efi.
That was
We
really
will we
great
will
to hear
go
that.
on for hours, yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's a nice discussion. But Bapak Ibu, we have several questions here. Let me read it from the first message that I got from Ibu Hamidah Salam. So here the question. Thank you very much for such insightful session. I have a question related to the starting point in writing an article and a PhD proposal. So do you think we have the same preparation? Is there any additional suggestion to start writing our PhD proposal for looking for the supervisor?
That is a very interesting question, Ibu Hamida. It reminds me of my own experience, actually, before doing my PhD. So I'll try to answer your question with my own personal experience, if I may, Ibu Hamida. So before I started my PhD, I got an offer to do a short course focusing on critical thinking. Okay, so the short course provides us with a lot of, it is online, okay, provided by University of Oregon, United States, and trains us to understand better what critical thinking is. It was back in 2012, ages ago. And now you know I'm very old. And and then after that, I got really, really interested in critical thinking. I love the idea, but also I hate the idea at the same time because it's so difficult to understand what critical thinking is. The more you read about critical thinking, the more you get confused. So that's why I hate it. And then the short course finished, and then, as a lecturer, I had to continue my study, even though I didn't really like it. I was in my comfort zone, but I had to continue my study to PhD, and I was like looking forward to continuing my study, in different cities or in a different country. And I got lucky, I got a scholarship, and I got an opportunity to continue my PhD. But before all that process, okay, I always brought with me my interest, which is critical thinking. And then also during my master's study, I was really into a language theory. I think some of us know that theory. It is called systemic functional linguistics, SFL. Okay, that is my other interest during my master's study. Systemic functional linguistics, and then I got critical thinking during a short course, short course or short training, whatever. And then those two things, what I know most. I know other things, but not really good. Okay, so those are the two things I got with me. And then when it was time to continue my PhD, and then after I got scholarship, and I started looking for potential supervisors. Yes, you need to have your research proposal done before looking for potential supervisors. First of all, Ibu Hamida, where do you want to study? Ask yourself that question. Do you want to study in Indonesia? Do you want to study in other countries? Make up your mind. Once you have decided, okay, I want to study in this country, okay, and then which university in that country? Okay, narrow it down every time. And then after you decide, okay, I got this university and that university, University A and University B. And then focus on looking on potential supervisors. Look at their publications. What have they published so far? Are there publications in that field of your interest? Okay, I applied to 3 different universities in Australia, and the fastest response I got was from University of Wollongong. Okay, they replied like in an instant. and they offered, and then they connected me to the potential supervisors that, you know, had the same interest or similar, similar interest. One of the supervisors are, is really into critical thinking and teaching English as a foreign language and so on and so forth. And the other supervisor is really into systemic functional linguistics. So those two supervisors helped me to shape my thesis, or what we know here in Indonesia, dissertasi. So again, yes, there is quite a lot of work you have to do, Ibu Hamidah. Okay, first of all, know yourself, know what you want. Okay, where do you want to go to study? Okay, what is your interest? And don't choose something so complicated that will make your life miserable later on. Okay, choose something simple, something you know very much, Ibu Hamidah, and then, well, do more research about the universities you want to go to, and then, of course, supervisors. And for research proposal, don't worry so much about your research proposal for PhD study, Ibu Hamidah, because your research proposal is just, just to make your potential supervisors become interested in you. It will change your research proposal. Okay, along with time, your research proposal will change dramatically. Okay, in my case, I think what I wrote in my research proposal, it's just like maybe 20 to 25%, okay, to my dissertasi, Ibu Hamidah. Everything will change. So semangat, Ibu Hamidah, if you are thinking about continuing your study now. It's a long winding road. It's a long process, but if I can do it, you can do it. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Okay. Okay, Pak.
Okay, thank you very much. That was really nice tips and trick to continue the PhD program. Hoping we can do that later on, Bapak Ibu, as well. So the next question come from Bapak Andrian Hadi Prasetyo. The question is related to the current topic, like the AI things. So a few days ago, my friend uploaded his paper to some publishers, but it was rejected because it was suspected of containing AI, even though he wrote it purely without AI. Is there any solution to avoid this AI indication, Bapak?
This one tough.
The AI.
If it was suspected of containing AI, then it contained AI. So, well, the solution is, okay, let's just put aside whether it is, purely without AI or, some involving some AI work. Okay, let's just put it aside. The solution is paraphrase it, but if you want to keep it, okay, I know it was rejected. Okay, you told me that you wrote here it was rejected, but dibuang sayang, so you want to keep it. The only solution I can think of now is to paraphrase what has been suspected of containing work of AI. That's it. If you want to keep it, yeah, Pak Andrian, okay, paraphrase it. And we all know here how to paraphrase, right? How do you paraphrase? That's a very simple question. Let's see what Ibu Bapak here think about paraphrase. How do you paraphrase, Ibu Bapak? Come on. I wouldn't say humanize, because I know it's again humanize. You're using another AI to work against another AI, something like that. Okay, so paraphrase it. Depend on your this your own AI, which is your brain. Okay, paraphrase it. How do we paraphrase, Ibu Bapak? Nobody's responding. No, well, you're depending so much on AI. Pak Soekarno, how do you paraphrase? Change the structure of the sentences. Use synonyms, words. Hey, some little effort, yeah, some small efforts to improve the originality of our own work. Yeah, so yeah, that is the only way I can think of, Pak Andrian. Yeah, you can change the sentence structures. No, come on. This is Ibu Ana who is responding. This is the one who guided me, taught me, okay, even though I was really stubborn, how to write a book review. Okay, big applause to Ibu Ana. Change the class of the word, phrase. Yeah, nominalization. Exactly. Okay, that is the best strategy to paraphrase nominalization. Okay, right. That's it. No, don't call me to paraphrase, okay? I'm not available all the time. Don't give the audience my number, Ibu Effie.
Okay. But I have your number, so I can call you.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh well,
Okay.
oh, of course, you can always call me.
Oh, such a sweet person
We are
you
best friends. Okay. Any other questions, perhaps?
All right, Bapak Ibu, we still have 10 minutes to the Q&A session. If you want to ask something, you still can do that.
Still shy.
All right, while waiting the others asking the question, I want to ask regarding the what is it? The research article that you mentioned previously in the point of view of the reviewer, Pak, you mentioned if we want to state our claim, we need to put the evidence there. But you
Yes.
also mentioned that whether or not the authors knows or understand the evidence itself, is there how can we show in our manuscript that we understand the evidence or our claim? Do you have any tips or any things to be avoided when we want to put the claim in our the evidence in our claim? Is there anything to avoid or that's
That
showing?
that's true, Pak. If we just stop at this is like the topic sentence itself, okay? If we stop there without giving, further information or elaborating some more, or giving some more reasoning, okay, or data, okay? So this kind of evidence support the claim to become a strong argument. Another thing is the evidence itself needs to be explained. So you need to explain what the evidence means to you after presenting the evidence. You need to say something about the evidence, but what do you understand about the evidence? How does the evidence actually support the claim you made in the topic sentence? So the tip is, of course, you need to understand that. Why did you decide to include that evidence to support your claim? That's the question that you have to ask. Or in another perspective is you need to rephrase the evidence in a much easier example. sorry, in a much easier sentence. Okay. Yes, some evidence, especially if you take, previous literature, okay, as your evidence, the language is difficult to understand. So rephrase it in your own words so that the reader can understand it a lot better. So that's what I can say about, explaining the evidence. You need to have it. So we as a reviewer or editors, we believe, we are convinced that you actually understand why that evidence matters.
All right, thank you very much, Pak Mahmud.
Yeah, hopefully I answer your question. Okay. Right. And nobody else?
All right, Bapak Ibu, if you still have any question, you can directly unmute your microphone or raise your hand or write down in the chat comment below. I think we still have 5 minutes to
5
10
minutes to
minutes.
go? Okay, we still have time. Just ask.
Yes. Or maybe if you want to share something about your struggling in writing the manuscript, you can ask the tips to Pak Mahmud today.
Is there a kind of workshop during or after the conference, Ibu Effie?
Pardon?
Is there a kind of workshop during or after the conference?
Actually, this is the one preparing for the conference, the session.
It's just like me leading to the conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about workshops during conference? Anything about academic writing, perhaps? Nothing?
So far we haven't really talked much about that. But if it's possible, then we can do it. But for our students in Unsika, we have the trainings, the one including in this similar topic, academic writing, as well as academic presentation.
It's
To
a good
prepare
point.
our students.
Yeah, it's a good
for the
starting point,
presentation.
academic writing. So
Yeah.
if there is a kind of a short workshop on academic writing, giving the participants some practice exercises, it would be great.
Yeah, sure. I think we can arrange another sessions for that as well. Thank you for the input, Pak Mahmud.
Yeah, Ibu. Okay.
Okay, here we have the question from Ibu Kresna Manik. Let me read it. In one condition, we have presented in seminar proposal, for example, in chapter 3, interpretative qualitative. At the beginning, the technique for collecting data is recording directly, or let's say yearly event. However, due to the condition, the event is cancelled and will be conducted next year. Can we do the research to the past recording of the event that was published by the official institution? Thank you.
I'm still trying to understand. It's a very long question. The technique for collecting data is recorded correctly. Let's say yearly event. What kind of event, Ibu Kresna? Trying to understand it. However, due to the condition, the event is cancelled. Okay, the event is cancelled and will be conducted next year. The event is cancelled. So, okay. Collecting data is recording directly the event. Can we do research to the past recording? Research to the past recording of the event that was published? I'm not really sure if I get it. Research to the past recording of the event that was published by the official institution. Well, if the event, my understanding is that the event is cancelled but you still need to collect the data by recording the event, but you cannot collect the data because the event is canceled. Is that? Well,
I think
yeah, yes.
the video published by the official institution is like the previous one, and the previous year before the event canceled. Like for example, the event canceled in 2022, and she want to take the data from the event from 2021, like published by the government recording.
Well, I think it's still possible as long as you justify, you mention that in your proposal or in your article. Justification is needed here why you did that. So you tell them that it was canceled, so I have no other choice but using previous recording. And it is still in the same context. And Ibu Ana said here, yes, you can do it. Yeah, I agree. As long as you justify why you did it. Okay, the event is canceled. It's beyond my control. Di luar kuasa Ibu. So it's canceled. So I have left with no other options but using previous videos published by the official institution. That's it. So it's all about giving justification, Ibu Kresna. Justification, but what I mean by justification here is that explain, okay? Explain it, why you did it, okay? Why you used previous recording published by the official institution, not directly recording the event. So we can, reviewers, editors will always, understand as long as your justification is there in your article or in your proposal. Yeah, that's my understanding to your question here, Ibu Kresna. Traditional event in Lake Toba. Okay, are you from Medan, Ibu Kresna? Oh, well, okay. All right then.
Kresna is our student in doctoral program.
Okay, Prof. All right. I don't remember. Sorry about that. Okay. From Kampung? Yeah, we are all from Kampung, Ibu Kresna. Okay.
Wow, that's a really nice discussion. Thank you, Ibu Kresna, and also Pak Mahmud for answering the question. So, Bapak Ibu, is there any more question? I think how about for this one. The next question from Ibu Anissa Riani. So thank you so much for the insightful session today. I often help my college friends with their thesis writing. They usually ask how they can improve their writing as they often struggle to elaborate the thought clearly. Many of them feel clueless when working on their assignments and end up needing multiple attempts to complete them. Do you have any suggestions or hey, it is deleted? Oh, do you
No, it's
suggestion?
still there.
Sorry,
Yeah.
or solutions for the situation, sir?
My solution will sound quite cliche. It's classical. It's classic. This problem is classic. When we are struggling in elaborating our thoughts, that indicates one thing only. You need to read more. Okay, you need to read more relevant literature. How can we write without reading? Okay, Ibu Anissa. So suggest your friends to read more about the topic they are writing. Relevant literature, literature related to the topic they are writing. They are struggling to elaborate their thoughts clearly because they are not connected to the academic relevant academic literature around them. They're not connected to that world. Okay, so you need to be connected. So what are they, what are they writing about? So they are writing about the use of, for example, technology in teaching English as a foreign language. So be in that world, okay? Be in that community. Read work on that topic. So when you read, you'll get more ideas. Okay, you can also include, those writers' opinion in your writing before you make your own claim, your own idea. Okay, later on. So immerse yourself in that community first. What I mean here, read, okay? Ask your friend to read. I believe this is not about academic writing itself, the grammar or the sentence structure. It's all about elaborating their thoughts clearly. So that's the problem. So you need to read. Ask your friends to read related literature to the topic. That's it. I know it sounds cliche, but that is the solution, Ibu Anissa. You need to read in order to write. You cannot write without reading. That's it. And we have to love reading. Yeah. And I know Ibu Effie here loves reading so much.
All right, thank you very much, Pak Mahmud. Now, Bapak Ibu, since we have the limitation of the time, I think we can close the Q&A session with this question. What motivates Bapak Mahmud to have the persistence related to the previous the last things we discussed in your presentation about the persistence, and I want to know about what motivates you, Bapak, to have the persistence in doing research and also writing a manuscript. So maybe it will really help us as the beginner to start writing.
So my motivation, Pak?
Yes, about to have the persistence, like you said previously.
Oh, to fulfill the BKD, Pak.
Oh my God.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
First is to fill in the BKD, and then the
Mhm.
second one to get promoted.
All right. So like the highlight you mentioned previously, right?
Yeah.
I
So
see.
I think that is the most, I think that's the reason. Okay. That's the
Mhm.
reason for me being persistent. Okay. Because we have to fill in BKD twice a year. Can you imagine that? And there are lots of things. So, well, yeah, if you ask me. And of course, to get promoted, even though that is just number 3 or number 4 in my list, but number 1 is, to fill in BKD. So I'm just being honest with you, with all of you here. Okay. I'm just being honest.
All right. Thank you very much, Pak Mahmud, for the insightful and inspiring presentation and also the Q&A session today. Okay, since
Thank you.
there are no more questions, Bapak Ibu, on behalf of the committee of the Seecon and also PELTIN 2025, let's move on to the next agenda. I will re-invite Ibu Putri Kamalia Hakim to present the certificate of appreciation to our speaker today as the token of our gratitude. Please, Ibu Putri.
Okay, Pak Karno. Hello again, everyone. Okay, so Pa Mahmud, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us this afternoon. On behalf of the committee, I'm happy to present this certificate as a small token of our appreciation. We are truly grateful to have you with us, and we hope to collaborate again in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ibu. Thank you so much for the certificate. I really had a great time sharing what I know. I know it's not much, but hopefully it will be useful for all of us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bu Putri, and also Pak Mahmud. Once again, thank you very much. We hope to collaborate with you again in the future events. And please give a round applause, everyone, and also the emotion. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, we are almost at the end of our sessions. So a reminder to all participants, please don't forget to fill out the attendance and feedback form. It is sent on the chat box below. Please check it because we will send the certificate that from what you filled. A certificate will be sent to those who attended the session and completed the form. So the form will be closed today by 11 p.m. So please fill in the form directly right now. We still have like 5 minutes to fill in the form. So while completing the form, we'd like to invite all of you to be part of something bigger. So join us at the third Seecon and the third PELTIN 2025. This international conference is where educators, researchers, and practitioners come together to share insight, present-day work, and build meaningful academics networks. And whether you are presenting or participating, the third Seecon and PELTIN 2025 is your platform to grow, connect, and inspire. So don't miss it. Mark your calendar on August 7th at 8 a.m. and stay tuned for more updates on our social media. And also don't forget to visit our official website for the upcoming announcement. See you at the third Seecon and PELTIN 2025. Here is the posters and also that you can find out the information. We will meet also inspiring and great speakers, of course. Okay, Bapak Ibu, thank you very much for attending today's session. Don't forget to fill in the questionnaire for your e-certificate. I think we're almost at the end of our session. See you at the third Seecon and PELTIN 2025. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, then don't forget, Bapak Ibu, before we left, let's take a picture together. Please turn on your camera and be ready for your best pose. We will take a picture together. Let me count. In one, the first slide, yeah. Let's ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. The next slide. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And then the last pose. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. Have a nice day and see you in the next agenda.
Bisa live ya Pak Karno?
Oke, bisa Bapak. Terima kasih banyak.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bapak Ibu kami izin tutup Zoom-nya ya. Terima kasih.